Hi everyone. So today I wanted to talk about basically a testimony, and I'm not completely delivered, but I I remember listening to this message, and the pastor was saying that um, we sometimes wait until we're totally freed from something to share our testimony, and one of the things that I was thinking about is that sometimes we are wrong and everybody looking at you and they don't see this thing that you're struggling with, right? So they think that it's all perfect, and that you don't have struggles, you know. And sometimes we kind of hide it because we're ashamed of it. We're working on it, but we're also ashamed of it. So we don't want to really put it out there, right? But one of the things I've learned is that part of being an example of the believer is also letting others know that, you know what, I'm not perfect. I'm struggling too. I'm a work in progress too. But that doesn't keep me back from moving forward. you know it's something that I'm working on, but in the meanwhile, while I'm working on that, I'm moving forward. Like, there are areas that I might be struggling in, but there are also areas that I'm doing well in, right? And why should I keep those areas back just because I'm struggling in another area? So that's where my inspiration came to share my testimony. And then there's also the verse in Revelations chapter 12 verse 11 that talks about how we overcome by the blood of the lamb and by the word of our testimony, right? And the verse before that talks about the accuser of the brethren, right, which is the enemy. And he looks for our weak areas and said, don't worry with she, she struggles with this. Or don't worry with he, he does this or he does that, or this person has this attitude, or this person has such and such a problem or whatever. And he accuses us. And then we know, when we testify and we put it out there, let's say for example, somebody holding something against you, and this person can only hold this thing against you if you are terrified of other people knowing, right? Because then now you're scared, what if they tell somebody? But if you step up first and say, you know what, guys, I'm sorry, but this is something that I'm struggling with, or this is something that I did, at that time I wasn't thinking straight, or I know now that it was wrong or whatever, and you speak up, he doesn't have anything against you because you already put it out there. So what does he have? He can't hold that against you anymore, right? So that's why I'm guessing that, the verse before talks about him accusing us, and then the second verse talks about us overcoming by the blood of the lamb and by the word of our testimony. And the blood of the lamb, I think that part has to do with Jesus Christ coming and dying on the cross and giving us the opportunity to now come to his throne ourselves, and to ask for forgiveness when we do stumble. Anyway, let me get into my testimony. One of the things that I've been struggling with for years, and it took me a while to realize that it's something that I am struggling with. Then when I did realize that it's something that I'm struggling with, then working through it was also a challenge for me. And at this stage in my life, I'm actually making progress with it. So, okay, the thing that I'm struggling with is the opinions of others around me and their approval. That is something that I notice that kind of cripples me, because the thing is that those around me that love me, right, they want what's best for me. So they have their own idea of what the best for me looks like, right? But then again, me having my relationship with God and me having my own desires, I have what I want, and it might not agree, it might not line up, right? And then me loving them and wanting to please them, wanting to be respectful to them, kind of have a tendency to just do what they want. But I'm learning that that's not the way it should work, you know, and building that boldness to actually step out there and do what I need to do, so that, I'm not trapped in that cell. I call it a cell, you know, because in times past, it's like I realize that this is something that I'm struggling with and I know how to get out. But every time something happens whereby, okay, I can have a choice to make, I can do this one thing and get, and you know, be on the road to recovery, or I can just fall back into my old ways and remain in this trap, or in this state. And most of the times I would say, I can do this, I'm gonna do this, and I get all worked up about it. And then something happens, and then I start thinking, but what if this happens, or what if they say this, or what if it doesn't work out, or what if I'm wrong, and all these thoughts start to come to me about, all the what ifs, and then I get scared, of maybe me messing up, maybe I don't know what I'm doing, or maybe they were right, or maybe what if the choice that I'm making is wrong, and all these thoughts would come to me, right? And then I would end up running back in my cell, because I feel like that's a safe place to be, because I don't want them to be upset with me, or I don't want I don't want it to be a case of me messing up and they gotta say, I told you so, like I run back to a place where I think I'm safer here. I don't have to deal with conflict, because of our difference in opinions, or I don't have to deal with them being upset with me about me making my own decisions, And after I would go back into that cell, then I would be miserable, because I'm doing something that I know I'm not supposed to be doing, but I just can't deal with the fact of them being upset with me, or I'm in the unknown, so I don't know if it's, what if it doesn't work out and all this, I'm taking this chance or taking this risk to do something that I'm not too sure about, right? There's a possibility it can work, and there's a possibility it may not work, right? And I'm just there scared to take a chance, because I'm worrying, what if it doesn't work, and then I end up being miserable, then I'm unhappy, then my attitude is not right, even though I'm doing what they want me to do. My attitude is not right. And then to them it's like, what's wrong with her, because to them it's like, this is something good, I don't know why she has an attitude like this, or why is she behaving like this. One of the things I've come to learn this year is that I have to look at it, okay, when am I at my best? I'm at my best when I'm able to be able to make that decision to do um what I believe that I'm supposed to be doing. Then I'm at my best, and I'm able to treat those around me well. I have a good attitude and all that. And I decided, what, I'm willing to do what I need to do in order to get out of this, to make those tough decisions, to take the chances, to take the risk, to be able to speak up, and not, most times, they might say something, you feel obligated to do it, you know, or maybe this is not what you like, but you just do it just because, and you're basically living your life for what they want, right? But now I'm learning to say, what, I'm sorry, but I don't really want to do this thing, or, not this time, maybe next time or something, or I already have plans, but speak up, and not just remain passive and behave and operate as if it's okay, and then get upset at them, like it's all on me, I never said anything, they're of the assumption that this is okay, so they don't know why I have a certain attitude, right? So basically it's all on me, and it's for me to, and I can say it very respectful, I can say no respectfully. I don't always have to say yes to be respectful. You can say no in a respectful, I'm sorry, not today, maybe tomorrow, or maybe next time, or I don't really like doing this thing, but okay, maybe just 5 minutes, or maybe tomorrow around this time, and you let them know, okay, this is your preference, or this is your conditions under which you would do it for them, right? And not just agree to whatever they throw at you, right? Because it's not, you're not always going to be able to do things according to somebody else's plans. As you get older, you're going to have your own plans, you're going to have things that you have to do, and sometimes only you know that, they don't know that. So sometimes they come with their plans, you have to be able to say, sorry, I had something planned in this section, maybe tomorrow around this time is a better time for me, is that okay with you? Or maybe you guys can come to some kind of compromise, rather than you just agreeing with them, and then now you got to take your plans, maybe stuff them in a corner or push them back, and then you there struggling because you never said anything, right? So in this season, I'm learning to speak up, and the thing is that years of getting frustrated being in that place kind of pushed me to that level now where I'm willing to do what I need to do in order to get out of this, willing to take the action steps in order to get out, and one of the other things I do is like, I get fearful of, okay, I feel pressured into doing this thing. What if this person thinks this thing if I don't do this? What if they do this thing, or what if this happens or so? Every time I get that thought that kind of tells me what if or what if, instead of going on assumptions or my perception of what I think might happen or so, I step back and I think, okay, Joanna, what do you want? What do you want to do in this situation? Is this something that you really want to do? And despite the fear of what they might say or what they might do, instead of making that assumption, I go ahead and I do it. If it's a case whereby they do say that thing, or they do that thing that I was fearful that they would do, at least now I have evidence that it may happen, rather than me just going on the assumption of it might happen, or this is what could happen, because sometimes, and I've learned majority of the times, when you're thinking or you're fearful of what if and what if, those things that you're afraid of happening, that you're afraid might happen, don't even happen, and it's the enemy piling these things up in your mind, causing you to remain in that cell, in that prison cell of fear, and never step out, and never be the best that you can be. And the thing is that when you are confident, when you're bold, when you're out there, and you're being able to say no at times, and not just say yes to everything, people kind of respect that. They learn from your boldness, because sometimes you are feeling like that towards them, and they're feeling like that towards somebody else. They're struggling with it too, and then through your boldness towards them, they grow a boldness now towards whoever it is that they were living in fear with, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking the steps necessary, being willing to step out there, take that chance, rather than living on perceptions and what I think, actually stepping out there and doing whatever I need to do. Even though I feel the fear, I do it anyway. And I tell myself every time I do something that, before, because this is it too, I always think, what was I doing before that wasn't getting me anywhere, and then I think about it. If I do that same thing right now, then I'm going to remain where I am. I'm not going to make any progress. So in order for me to get change, in order for me to grow, I have to do something different. Despite how scary, how fearful I might feel about it, still do it. And every time I do it, I guess I feel so proud of myself. Baby steps. I tell myself that I'm proud of you, and I celebrate every single inch of progress that I make, because progress is progress, and I see myself getting better, and I constantly keep working on it, and it doesn't have to be big steps, it just little steps, is progress. And the thing is that I'm working on this now, and I'm expecting God to allow situations to come in my way whereby I'm gonna want to run back to the old ways. But then, I gotta think, what, Joanna, do you really want this change? And if I really want this change, what do I need to do to get this change? And make the decisions, the wise decisions, the right decisions that I need to make in order to, actually get through this. That's one of the things I talked about, is like, God is always doing what he's supposed to do. We're praying about something that we're struggling with, and God is doing his part. But are we doing our part? I'm praying to ask God, dear Lord, I don't like feeling like this. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to always thinking about people and what they think. And God is like, okay, let's work through this. And then how he helps me, he provides information, maybe it's a video that kind of encourages me and lets me know, what, this is the right thing to do. This is the way I was thinking was right, like I gotta get out of here. You gotta stop doing this. You gotta this, and it tells you that. Then now it's up to you to implement these steps, to do what you need to do. He's gonna allow opportunities to come whereby people are gonna want you to do things a certain way, and then you gotta now be able to respectfully, decline and say, I'm sorry, but is tomorrow a better time, because that's better time for me, and the times pass, you probably would have said, sure, okay, and then you're gone back. But at least that was me. You're gone back mumbling about, I don't know why that always, and then you're frustrated. You're the one who's messing up. Anyway, I hope you got the gist of my testimony, and I hope it's encouraging to somebody. I'm not totally delivered yet. There's something that I'm working on, but God's word says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So I'm sharing my testimony of how I'm making progress, and I pray that it's helpful to somebody out there. No, and it's also helping me because now I'm speaking it out and I'm seeing the full picture, and I'm gonna keep moving forward because I know I'm doing something good. I'm not doing anything bad, despite the fear I might be feeling on the inside at times when I'm making my decisions. Despite how tough it is, despite who might be upset with me or thinking that I'm being rude. I try not to be rude. I try to be respectful. But anyway, but despite all of that, to know that I am doing the right thing and to keep pushing forward, to keep moving forward, and that I am making progress, and that if I keep at it, I'll get there someday. Anyway, thank you for listening. Feel free to share this video if it was a blessing to you and you feel like it's gonna bless somebody else. Maybe you have an experience maybe the same thing that I was struggling with, that you can maybe share in the comments, that I can learn from you, the others can learn from you, or maybe there's something else that you are struggling with and how you overcame it, if you have already overcome. If not, and you're still working through it, you can still share about it, and what are the steps that you were doing to actually get through it. Also, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, if I haven't said it already, and feel free to check out my craft page. It's Elizabeth's Classics. I have a page on Facebook, on Instagram. I also have a website, Elizabeth's Classics, and I make, like, this is one of the items that I make, and I make among a lot of other things. But if you can just check my page out, I'll be very grateful. Anyway, thank you for listening, and see you in my next video. Bye.